So, all right, I am officially recording, and I want to welcome you guys to our last Hindsight is 2020. If you joined us last week, we ended up having to reschedule, but it was because of technical difficulties. But that's kind of turned out well because now we have some additional rock stars on the call, and this is kind of like the grand finale of our calls. There's a lot of stars here this morning. I'm thrilled to have you guys all on here and getting to kind of channel the collective wisdom amongst all of you and your insight into what we've seen over the last year in real estate. So I'm going to give you a chance to just first go through and introduce yourselves. And like I told you a second ago, we're all about celebrating and cheering for each other, celebrating each other's wins in Real Producers. So I would love for you to share something that has been a win for you, either personally or professionally, or maybe you can even pick one of both over this last year. So Dana, you're up in my top corner, so I'm going to let you kick it off.
So, hey y'all, I am Dana Summers, and I'm Placer County, and my win this last year was getting through my very first year launching my own brokerage boutique real estate alongside my side partner, whom I'm very much blessed to be a part of. Getting through the year and still having a pulse and loving real estate still, loving my clients even more. But yeah, that was my big win. And just, thrilled to be on here with all you folks. You all look great and like seeing you like in person, kind of. Would love to see you and hug you because I'm a hugger and I'm missing the hugs. So that's me. So welcome.
Seriously, me too with missing the hugs. All right, Tim, down to you.
My name is Tim Cullum. I am in the downtown Sacramento area and expanding, I guess you would say, intentionally, unintentionally. And my biggest win was having a baby girl about 5 weeks ago. I'm like, she's like a 53-day escrow, I guess I would call her right now. That's what I learned in terms of 30, 60, and 90 days. So that's kind of where I'm at, 53-day escrow, and she is amazing. So that's great. And then I've had the same kind of thing. I've started on my, I went out on my own, and we've done really well. We came out last year, 35% ahead of the previous year. And then we're a small, but really we do the same type of side company, but our own brokerage down in the downtown East Sac area. I've been in the business for 21 years, and that's it, I think. And I'm super happy to be here with you guys. I love seeing the names. There's a lot of legends that I don't even know, but I've been following and trying to figure out what they do, and obviously all these different models. So, and like Katie said, we can all talk, so I'm going to just shut my mouth right now.
That's all right. That's been the most fun thing about coming into this real estate community. You guys are the best. All right, Sunit, tell us about you.
Sunit Agrawal. I have my brokerage, Big Block Realty North, and my team, Best Sac Homes Group. And 2020 was fabulous. We did more deals than I ever expected I would ever do in my life. But my highlight was just, even with the pandemic, I was able to get in better shape and spend more time with my two daughters. So that was huge. And so also happy to be here. Katie, you're doing a terrific job. So thanks for the invite.
Of course. All right. Thanks, Sunit. Taylor, let's go over to you.
Hi, everyone. I am Taylor. I'm with Navigate Realty up in El Dorado County. I work primarily Placerville, but I would say my biggest celebration for the year is that I successfully grew a human, probably about 53 days old now as well. I think we were in the hospital delivering around the same time as Tim and his wife. And so we also crossed the threshold of 100 closed transactions. In the same week, I celebrated 4 years as a realtor. So it's pretty cool to just look back and reflect. I grew 2 humans in 4 years, and it's just been really cool to see the community and the support in real estate. And so it's just been really fun to kind of just continue on and spend more time with family in 2020 overall. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yes, growing humans is a no small feat. I speak from experience.
And mine are big.
Yes.
I got lots of baby.
All right, Bill, I see you down in the corner of my screen now. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Bill Sadik, not Nick Sadik, just in case nobody knows. But I guess my accomplishment for 2020, my personal accomplishment was discovering the walking trails around my house. So I've never walked as much as ever I've lived there. And business accomplishment, I would say, being able to secure the Engel and Volker's franchise for our area, plus signing a lease at the fountains. It was a little scary in the beginning because I actually signed the franchise agreement exactly a year ago, just before we had the shutdown.
Oh.
And then once we signed and then everything shut down, then in my mind said, did I do the right decision or not? So it was a little scary, but then when things opened up, it was the best decision I ever made. And that was the reason we were able to sign a lease at the fountains, because originally they did not want a real estate office in the retail location. They want to stick us up in the corner somewhere. But they called me back in, I think, late April, once businesses starting closing their doors. They asked if I'm still interested, and I jumped on it.
And yeah, those of you who weren't at our October event, Bill is extremely gracious when people mistake him for his brother. I happened to be at the event, so you know, I probably won't ever live that one down. But thanks, Bill. All right, Debbie, over to you.
Hey everybody, I'm Debbie Austin. I have been full-time for about 17 years. I'm with Keller Williams. My primary target area is Granite Bay, but you know, kind of the corridor of Rockland, Roseville, Folsom, Eldorado Hills as well. I was so excited. I got to go on my first plane in a year about 2 weeks ago. I went back to Georgia to see family. And last year, I do a lot of off-market escrows. I put in over 60 million last year alone. So it was a busy year, but a good year.
That's awesome. Thanks for being here, Debbie.
Thank you.
Okay, on to our partners who make our Real Producers World go round. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself and your industries. So you want to start us off, Gary?
Yeah, so I'm Gary from Bellwood Investments. We're an investment company. I said with the highs and lows that we had, we doubled our business from 2019 to 2020, and we've gone nationally. So we're in 12 different states now. And I didn't grow any humans, but I did get 2 puppies. So I have 2 German Shepherd Huskies that we adopted into our family, which has been like having humans.
That's awesome.
I would take a newborn over a puppy any day.
That's actually true.
I know, trust me.
All right, go ahead, Scott.
I'm Scott Rodier. I'm the CEO of Excite Creative Solutions. We're a marketing partner for small to medium-sized businesses. We specialize in helping brands succeed in their marketing goals. We use photo, video, and other branding tools to have our clients have some great success. I would say my personal goal is just rethinking life and being closer to my daughters. I didn't grow humans, but I have helped raise them over the last 7 years. And this last year has been challenging, turning into an educator as well as a parent, and try to be a little bit of a friend as well, and just have some great time with my girls. Really honed me into what is important in life. So I feel blessed that we've had this option to spend more time with our loved ones. I would say my professional accomplishment is navigating a small creative agency through a challenging year and helping our partners get their message out in different ways, and just being flexible and finding those creative ways to do that for our partners.
I love that. All right, last but certainly not least, tell us about yourself, Minette.
Hi, everyone. I'm Minette Thompson with North American Title Company. I've been with North American Title. Today's my 23rd anniversary.
Wow.
But I've only been here for a year. So I moved here from the Bay Area. I've worked in this industry for 41 years. I grew babies in my belly 30 something years ago.
Mhm.
I'm an empty nester. Just decided to come up here because I have family here and give it a whirl. And it's the best thing I ever did. I've been super successful. In just 1 year's time, I'm doing already what I was doing in the Bay Area with the higher price points. So it's been fabulous. I love connecting my agents with my Bay Area connections. That's helped me a lot. Let's see, I guess my biggest accomplishment is just coming here and just, you know, it was really scary to just up and leave where you've been your whole life, but it's just been an amazing experience and everybody is so amazing. So thank you to everyone. Yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys for all being here. You are all just really fantastic people to know. So I am thrilled for this conversation and to just kind of get to sit back and even listen to you guys as you talk about what you saw over the last year, maybe what you, I think, it's no surprise that I think everybody kind of froze last March and thought, oh no, is this like another 2008 or something? And then very quickly realized, oh no, definitely not that. And we saw just a crazy last year in real estate, and it's still going and doesn't seem to be slowing down. So if I can turn it over to you to kind of just discuss some of the observations, what would you say were the biggest adaptations that you made over the last year or needed to make to how you were doing business? And do you think those are things that now are here to stay and a new model for you in real estate? Or is it something that is still kind of like an adjustment for the time being? Yeah. Feel free to jump in.
Let me unmute myself. So, you know, when the lockdown happened, I think I laid off like 11 people that first week, just kind of as a reactionary thing. They all since have been hired back. About 2 weeks after that, they all got hired back. Plus we hired about 10 more. So staff, right? And as far as the changes, obviously, like for many professionals, the virtual Zoom and world was something new, right? For us, we've been doing Zooms and trainings the entire time that I've been in the business mostly. I think the biggest thing that agents have had to really deal with is a whole new sheet of paper called the damn PED, right? So I mean, like that's the biggest challenge that I hear from my team is how just that extra step. And what's that code called on lockboxes? Like sometimes you need the code, sometimes you need the PED first, and it just seems to put a lot of extra work on the agents. And hopefully that goes away when the pandemic's over. That's all.
Anyone else?
I think that it was, I was quick to learn that everything works and nothing works all at the same time. You know, like every time I would try and set a new schedule, or I can be on Zoom at this time, I'm at home. I've got 3 kids now. Last year I had 2, but we were expecting goat kids. You know, we expanded our mini farm with donkey. There were so many other things by being at home. I really couldn't structure it as much as I was used to in an office setting. And so what I really liked is my clients just rolled with the punches. I remember I wrote about this in one of the earlier articles in the Real Producers, but I remember in a really tight negotiation, and one of the new baby goats was like maaing next to me because I was out in the pasture when she called. And it just brought like a human sense. It kind of like brought us both back down, like we're both doing what we can. She had kids, she was trying to battle with Zoom and everything else and kind of just juggle. And it was just really nice to know that all these other top producers, like I'm looking at your faces, I've talked to a lot of you this year and not in a very professional setting, you know, just we're doing our jobs the best that we can and quickly pivoting when the thing that we thought would work didn't work and finding a new solution. So I think that that was the coolest thing. And I really try to build my business about being true to who I am. You know, I am the millennial realtor mama. I'm not going to hide those things. And so it was nice to know that it was actually fairly acceptable this year, just by default. And so I'm kind of trying to keep that running and moving forward. I don't want to have to apologize for being me, you know?
I do agree with that. I think that this year brought a refreshing transparency to a lot of people because we were forced to work from inside our homes, which kind of blends that, which again is really what Real Producers is about, is blending that personal and professional, but we kind of were forced to do it tangibly too, which was this really in front of your face reminder. So yeah, go ahead. Somebody else.
I think that on our end, I don't know if it's so much of a change, but it was more of a depth of understanding for my team of how when I originally got into real estate, I was in tech for 20 years, right? And then I went from the man's world of tech to a very emotional, like real estate industry, which is a very big transition because when I went into tech, I was in my 20s, right? So I had to learn very much that you have to be very direct and very forward with everyone. And then you go into real estate and you deal with every range of human being, right? Someone that's doing it part-time, someone who's doing it full-time, someone who understands professional behaviors. And so I had the blessing of meeting an agent, a broker who taught me about Buffini, about relationships. So when I dove in, I had moved from San Diego. I knew no one. I was traveling across the US and Canada for 20 years. And now I'm stuck in like Northern California. Like I was like thinking I moved to the country, Taylor, right? And it really isn't the country, but when you leave Del Mar and you go to like Northern California, it's different. So I learned early, way back when, that relationships are everything. And I think that this year, instead of me preaching to my team that relationships are everything and that's how you keep your business going, it showed them that it is. Because when you all of a sudden have the umbilical cord pulled out and you cannot go sit face to face with everyone and break bread with them, it's a whole different scenario. And so I think for us, just hunkering down, what helped us survive the first few months were tough because COVID did hit and I ended up with COVID and strep throat and then in the hospital with 3 discs burn out my back. And I still was closing 7 deals while I was in the hospital with 3 discs burn out my back. And so the only reason why was all relationships. It had nothing to do with, I don't know, lead buying or anything. It was relationships. So it helped solidify for the team that you always want to have relationships with your clients. It needs to be so much more than about the one transaction and the multi-generational business. And it ended up, the year ended up a lot better than I expected. It was a rough year because we moved our team 3 times. We had just released our space right when we opened up our business and we were super excited about it. And then one of the co-leasers had COVID. So we had to move out into my home. So my poor husband, thank God we have 4,000 square feet. It's one story. We were spread out in my home, right? There were 8 or 9 of us. And then we now moved into a place in Rockland. So moving 3 times, it all came back to me, Katie, honestly, if you really, for me, thinking about it is relationships. And I want to continue that with my team, is that you must build relationships to keep your business going long term. And all of you, like, loving to see all of your faces. I've had an opportunity to work with most of you, at least at some point. And thank you for being so amazing and responsive. We have so many professionals in our industry that I've been able to connect with, even though I don't get to hug you, I get to see you. And thank you for taking my calls, working with my agents, being patient with our team. But yeah, just a blessing. Relationships would be my big takeaway for the year.
Dana, it's so nice to see you. I just looked at my email. I said, is that the same person? Yes. How many deals have we done this year?
Oh my gosh. We've done several and we have another one closing soon, but I so appreciate you, Suneet, because you have been great with like the guys that I have that are buying your stuff. They're all the 7 investors and they just want like everything now. So thank you. And Nick is awesome. Nick is amazing. So
Good.
thank
Yeah,
him.
he's a busy guy.
I so appreciate it.
I'm working with Jasmine right now too.
Good.
All right, who else? Don't be shy, jump on in.
It's Debbie,
I have
right?
to go on mute. I have to go on mute. A client just showed up. I'm just gonna show him something and I'll be right back.
Okay.
So, hopefully I don't miss too much.
No problem.
That is the nature of this business, being able to work on the fly and be on a Zoom call and show at home at the same time.
Showing it, it's how it's done. I love it. Let me ask you this. I was just interviewing a couple agents on Tuesday, and learned something new about kind of that's maybe coming down you guys' path as far as things being incredibly competitive right now, obviously, with there being such limited inventory and all of trying to win all of the listings and offers. And I was told that there's now, you guys are not allowed to submit letters from your clients about, you know, like who they are or whatever because of discrimination. Is that a thing across the board? And what's your thoughts on that?
I think that's always been the case for a couple of years, right? But it just got more steam this year. I've been telling our agents not to do it for a long time.
I was just in negotiations and the listing agent said, please send a letter. My seller wants to know who they're selling to. And I said, well, I do have a letter. And then we didn't get it. And she said, well, they'd like to get the letter better. I'm like, oh no, this is maybe the exact reason why we shouldn't have the letters.
Debbie,
Right.
It wasn't a terms, it was the letter. So
the hard part is with CAR coming down because I don't know, is anybody else a CAR director on the call? Anybody else on the? We did on the last call. We had a couple. So yeah, they're really cracking down hard on us at CAR with regard, or NAR really is really pushing, but they're really, really being hardcore about it because of all the stuff going on in the media. Now, I don't watch TV, so I stay away from all that kind of stuff. And I don't really do social media is there for me, but I have my team to do it. But I guess it's just becoming a major issue. And you're not even, I mean, yes, you see the first and last names on the contract, but they don't even want you to send pictures or if they have kids or not. And it's just heartbreaking because they're taking in yes, I get it. But as a director, I can't speak more like openly like I'd like to, but I will say that it makes me sad that this is a relational business and this is the biggest transaction people make in their life and their biggest decision. And you want them to know they're in the right community that they love and things that they love. So it's kind of restricting us a bit. So yes, it's going to get more strict.
I think for us, everything changes and you just don't want to piss off the listing agents right now. If you're 1 out of 20 and they tell you not to do it, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do whatever you tell me. And I think that's been what I've been talking to my team about as well. Like Sunit said, like, I think over the last couple of years, they've gotten a little bit more extraordinary. The letters have become videos and then they become all these things. And, you know, then it is like if someone out of the 20 people get upset and they're like, well, why did someone get it? All it takes is one agent to say, well, they just liked them better and they had a better, you know, and that's just like, you're like, oh man. So I think, yeah, we're seeing so many different changes in general. And obviously everyone's getting, you know, more desperate on trying to get their clients things, you know, and I think obviously we've never seen a market like this, at least I haven't in the last 21 years, where people are just becoming where it's, they're pretty intense. So, and I mean, I guess you could meet with, I mean, there's all these things that we used to, you know, say, hey, can we present it to your clients and can we do all that? I remember those days. And now people think you're nuts doing that. So that's, you just don't want to piss off the listing agent. So that's it.
I don't know about you all, but just I've seen a huge shift even in the last probably 60 days. It is so competitive where it was competitive before, but the savviness in writing offers has like jumped up tenfold that I've never seen. Last year, I mean, I could go through with pretty much complete certainty, we will win it, we will win it. And now, as strong as offers if I am putting in, waiving everything, you know, 100,000 over list and still not getting it, it's crazy. It's just, it's hard to wrap my mind around what a shift we're in right now. A lot of Bay Area influence and agents coming this way and submitting for their buyers.
Totally. That's like, it's such a, I agree with that 100%. I mean, we're telling people now, you have to be $100,000 over the asking. I mean, East Sacramento, we've written 4 offers or had 4 listings that have gone for 100 grand over. And that's very common now. And it's just crazy. So all the Bay Area, it's like, almost like I tell people, it's like you have a piranha that just jumped into Lake Tahoe and that's what's happening in Tahoe and all where you guys are and the majority of you, like up in the Placer counties, I'm like, just, that's insane. I mean, the Truckee, Placer, all those areas are incredible too. So it's just an interesting time right now. And I go like, the first question, the biggest difference for us is I'm trying to be as visible as possible. So I was always on the news. So I was on the news like 17 times with all these different stations last year. And I think that was the main thing for our success is to keep staying visible And I think then I'd always have these market updates, but I was like, what am I even saying? Because this shit is so unbelievable that like, we can't write this. Like we were like for a month, like Sneak and other people are like laying off people. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, we're doing opposite. And it's just cranking as much as possible. So it's just been an interesting year, and nothing that comes out of my mouth, I'm just like blown away by it, you know? So I would agree, Debbie, that like, it's one of those things that you can see that the market is doing some things that we've never seen before. And then it'll continue to do, like, is it going to shoot down now, or is it, what's going to happen next? And if I can sell 35% more without putting out bagels and open house signs and shit like that, like, this is my dream right now. I'm like, this is perfect. I don't have to deal with all these agents. No, I'm good.
So Tim,
hey, I have a question. So what price point are you talking about when you're going 100,000 over? Like $1 million, 10%?
My price points are like $1 million and above.
Yeah.
So there's a house, little tiny house, 2,500 square foot home in Granite Bay. This is just an example. We all have them. And I even had a buyer representing as well. And when it went up to 175,000 over, I said, it is not even worth 50,000 over list. Like the value is 850, and it got up to $1,025,000. And I said, you can't do this. And it's just crazy right now. I remember, I network with a lot of agents down in the Bay, and a couple of years ago, they were saying, we don't even want buyers. I don't even want a buyer lead if you have one. And I sort of get that now.
Yeah, in the Bay Area,
it's crazy.
We do that for a long time, and definitely 10 or 20% over.
We're seeing it all over in the sense of 500 to 1.3 or right around there. We did 120 deals for 900,000 last year or something like that. And we're seing it all over the board. I mean, a $300,000 house, it's like, get ready. I mean, it's just like, you're just gonna get lit up. And I don't know, I know people have varying businesses, but I think it's all over. That's the one thing. All of us are shaking our heads, and none of us are saying, man, we had a bad year. Like last year really was horrible for us. Like I haven't met one real estate agent where they're like, they're right. I mean, I don't know. I think that's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to kind of see that person where they're like, yeah, it's just horrible. I don't know what happened, but it's crazy.
I mean, being that we have, listings of all prices in every nook and cranny as far as we can drive, it's on average 10%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and what's crazy is the communication and the education has had to change and pivot with the buyers. Buyers before, I have this cheat sheet. I work a lot of buyers, and you can let's pick 2 of these things for my 12 tricks, to write an offer. Now I'm like, you need to do these 12, and I need to drop off cookies and a bottle of wine. And like, I don't know what there is that we have to do, but just picking 1 or 2 things that are in favor of the seller, they don't even cut it anymore. And it's hard because I do work with a lot of first-time buyers, or, in that $400,000 price point, to the table and winning right now is literally just getting your offer to the top of the table, right? To the top of the pile. It's no longer getting a deal. There's no deal to be had. I mean, and that's what's really hard to drive home is because you're kind of crushing their spirits. You have so many new buyers coming to the market because of the, your interest rates and everything else. And then you kind of say, and here's how we play the game, and you have no say. And that's been really challenging as a buyer's agent, because it's just doesn't seem right. I'm just in disbelief every time when I have to walk them through that.
Go show them one house, right? And then at that house, that buyer consult, you got to just break it down and realistic and see what they can stomach. So you're not driving around the same lead who thinks they're going to get lucky. Excuse me, the same buyer. The same buyer for months thinking that they're going to just strike gold and find that one house, right? Like you got to just have that upfront conversation. Again, I mean, it means that conversion is going to go down, but that's it.
It's sad. Sunita, I had one of the guys in that group of investors I'm working with that we keep writing offers on your properties, and they typically want to go like to 7 max, right? So one of them sent me three listings the other day at 900 going, could we get these for less? And I'm like, Manish, are you kidding me right now? Are you like drinking right now? What are you doing right now? Because we've been doing this for 7 months together, and you're like asking me that question. But ultimately, Tim, I want to make a little like comedy out of all this, because this is like so intense always in real estate. We had a guy come in and custom do our storage closet, hanging for all of our open house signs. and I'm laughing. I'm like, I don't know if we're ever going to use those again. It's hysterical. It's like they look so nice and tidy right there, but I don't think they're ever going to leave that closet. So they're going to be in the closet for a while.
They'll come out. They'll come out in the next month or two, for sure. We'll start to see those suckers. I'm bummed. I'm kind of like, oh man, I love it. I love meeting people, and I'll give you my realtor answer and then whatever. But I'm pretty excited about doing what we're doing right now, to tell you the truth. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Same.
So I have a question on that, along those lines then, with things like Taylor mentioned and Debbie needing to be so competitive. What are the responsibilities on your end with your different kinds of buyers to win the listing, as far as wise ways to do that and sweeten your offer, and unwise things that you're seeing from realtors? Do you have opinions on, like, is winning everything, or are you, finding there's things that agents are doing that you feel like you disagree with and are reckless, and even if it's going to get you the win, you shouldn't be consulting your, buyer to make offers in that way? So what are the best ways to do it? What are the not ways to do it?
As a brokerage owner, like, this stuff is making my skin crawl. Are you kidding me? Like, what? Waiving everything as a team leader? Got to do what you got to do, right?
That's a minimum now. I mean, you're basically waiving everything, maybe short 4 days for inspections, but loan and appraisal can't even be part of the equation.
Right. So
you run that risk.
Ridiculous. I think the craziest thing too are the free rent backs that are happening. We have a moratorium on eviction notices.
I know.
That shocks me that people are so freely, here's 3 months of free rent. I'm like, you don't know what 3 months from now looks like as a landlord. That's where I cannot advise on that.
Every week we have a seller who will not leave. Once a week minimum on my team.
Really?
Seller who will not leave. It is like the most common thing that we're dealing with right now.
Sunit, how many deals? Sunit, how many deals are you doing right now? Like, let's just say the last year. Just so
last year we did about 640 here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So when they're not leaving, are you doing like a seller in possession and just, locking up a really large, possession fee or delivery of keys day?
I don't actually know what's happening, but I know that the transactions are going through. I would need to ask about somebody what actually happens. I just know that we get the problems and the checks come in.
I used to just do like 0, maybe up to 1,000 at most, but I'm seeing on offers, delivery of possession up to $10,000 because they want, if you're not out on the day, your vacancy date, we keep that. And I just think it's crazy. It's very difficult to be around to see this.
That's a good idea. That is smart. Let me write that down.
That's only on the SIP though. So it's not a security deposit. It is a delivery of possession.
I love that. I just learned so much. Thank you, Debbie.
Is anybody else coming up against the sellers leaving? Like, we had SIPs, because like you're talking extended rent backs, right? We only had a short rent back on a transaction, and it's first time buyer that's coming in. They're engineers. They're very engineering linear minded, right? And the house was left, disgusting. And so $700, we had $1,000 held in deposit, for move out. There was dog crap all over the backyard. I paid to have that removed. I paid $700 to have the house cleaned. And that was like 3 loads of trash that we took out. And this is a nice community. This wasn't like a crappy community. It's like a $700,000 house. It wasn't cheap. And the agent on the other side I don't know. I'm just finding that, like, I love working with y'all, but there's just sometimes agents that are just disrespectful in that. They're like, whatever, it's your problem, you deal with it. It's like, I understand this is a hot market for listing agents, but I just want y'all to not ever do that to you guys. That's just not my thing. And I just blows my mind when that happens and you're literally like just picking up the mess that they've left because they think it's okay to do that just because it's a hot market. It's not cool to do that.
Right.
No. That is messed up.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody else is seeing that, but it's sad. It's like, this is the 4th transaction I've had with the same agent, and they're good agents. It's not the agent. It's just that if their client doesn't take care of it, I would take care of it. I always do.
So on the RLAS, just do a high security deposit, and then you can deduct the cost of that.
Well, I did do the security deposit, and I still haven't released it, but they're refusing. So it's just going to sit. It's going to sit and rot because the other agent doesn't feel that they have any culpability. So sad.
Sad.
Those are some of the crazy things I'm seeing.
It is a wild market right now. I want to make sure, thank you guys for the conversation. It is just, for me, like so fun to sit back. I feel like I just am getting a master's degree in real estate, getting to sit and listen to you guys every week. So I thank you for just taking the time to come on here. I do want to respect your time, and I want to have a chance to wrap up with our Fast Five because it's fun. And so just a heads up, we're going to go quickly in order. I did not prep you with these questions, so you are just going to tell me the first thing that pops off the top of your head when I ask. And we're going to go in order. So listen to the person that's ahead of you, and you'll just rapid fire right after them. So we're going to go Dana to Taylor, to Tim, to Manette, to Debbie, to Sanit, to Gary, and then I don't think Bill is back to us yet. So after Gary, we'll go back up to Dana. Does that sound good?
He must be having a good showing.
I know, that's great news, right? That works. And we did lose Scott in here. He told me he had to go. He had an appointment hard at 12, so he knew he was going to have to go early. We didn't even really get to hear from him, but that's all right. Okay, we're going to start off with a super easy one. And I'm going to ask you if you are a snow person or a sand person. Snow or sand, Dana?
Girlfriend sand. I surfed my whole life.
Awesome.
Oh. I'm going to say snow because I really don't go to the beach ever.
Okay.
I would go sand for sure.
Sand for sure. I go to Maui every year.
I have to say both. I've always been a ski team, but we're always at the ocean as well. Both.
Oh, I love it.
Sand.
No.
Snow for you. All right. Did we hit everybody? I'm losing you on my screen. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, we're back up to you, Dana. All right, best vacation you have been to. If you get to repeat one vacation, which one is it?
It's hard. I traveled a lot. Remember, 20 years of traveling. I would say that our time in Maui was my favorite experience. I got engaged in Maui, so I think Maui was like my favorite moment.
Troncones, Mexico.
Costa Rica for me.
Oh yeah.
Maui, definitely Maui.
Israel about a little over a year ago, just before everything shut down.
Gary, are you on here?
Oh yeah, is it me?
I'm on mute. Sorry. I like going to India. Just, I mean, I don't have any family there, but it's just the history and the sights. I've been like 9 times. They have beaches, they got snow, they got it all. So it's super cool.
Cool.
Amazing.
For me, it was cruise on the Caribbean.
Nice.
Canceled that this year.
Oh.
I've canceled 2 already.
Oh, brutal. All right. Are you a roller coaster person or a read a book person? Roller coaster or read a book?
I'm afraid of heights, but I'm a thriller kind of person though, but I read incessantly, you guys. I have like 20 million audiobooks at all times. I read. So, but I vomit on a roller coaster.
There's a time and a place for both in my world. I love the roller coasters, all of it. Obviously don't get many of those in, but I also don't read as much as I would like to lately either. So I do enjoy a good book.
I don't have the attention span to sit down and read. I have a problem with that. So I have a huge amount of ADHD. So I guess I would say roller coaster.
Audible, Tim, audible.
I'm the same as Tim. Same as Tim. And I love roller coasters. The scarier, the faster, the better.
Awesome.
I am both, again, thrill seeker, but I've got book clubs. And so I'm busy with that when I have time.
Same.
Yeah, maybe an emotional roller coaster, but I would rather.
I'm an audiobook kind of guy, but I love roller coasters.
Nice. Yeah, my husband will never open up a book, but he listens to audiobooks on like triple speed, so he powers through.
Wow.
All right, sweet or salty?
Oh, salty. All the way.
I've got a sweet too.
I say
I
sweet.
don't know if you heard that. Definitely have a sweet too.
Sweet, sweet. Okay.
Sweet.
Salty. Salty.
Salty.
Sweet.
Nice. All right, final one, and you might have to think just a little bit for this, but it's also going to be in our next We Ask You Tell that I'm going to print, so I'm taking notes. What is the one show, and Taylor, you can't repeat, so you got to think of a new one because she's already answered on our Facebook. What show would you bring back from your childhood or teenage years? If you could pick one television show to bring back, what would it be?
For my teenage years, holy crapola.
It can be childhood or teenage.
You forget that I'm old. I don't know. I mean, I guess it would have to be a comedy. I don't remember. Oh, how about Three's Company?
That's my answer too.
I love it. I love Three's Company. Good.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to repeat, and I wasn't a teenager. But I do think Gilligan's Island could come back.
Yes, that's a good one too.
But my first pick obviously is Friends.
Yes.
I loved Family Ties, but I would take Three's Company over Family Ties all day.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
So I'm gonna steal Debbie's and Dana's.
Okay, I'm totally dating myself. The Carol Burnett Show.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Ooh. That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
I also commented Alf on the Facebook page, but that was just to be dumb. That was just to say something dumb. Yeah, I mean, we all liked it, but we don't want to see it anymore, right? I like Three's Company as well. Yes.
I have never seen this. I need to watch it apparently.
Girlfriend. You need some John Ritter in your life.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to date myself a little bit here too and bring back I Love Lucy.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Love Boat.
That's good.
That's a good one.
I love it. Well, hey,
All
Bill,
these shows have been remade.
Yes.
that's true. Bill, you made it back just in time for our very last question of our call. If
Okay.
you could bring back one television show from either your childhood or teenage years, what television show would you bring back?
How about the A-Team and Mr. T?
Oh
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I love it. All right,
Greatest
you guys
American
have been
Hero.
Greatest American Hero. That's a good one too. You guys
Yes.
have been great sports. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. I'm sure none of you have any listings or anything that you should be working on right now, right? This is just the first thing, priority of your day. Well, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you all in person on April 8th at our event, hopefully, and have a great rest of your day.
It was nice meeting all of you.
Thanks,
Thank you so much,
Katie.
Nice to meet you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hopefully someday in person.